Um, look, the shit that's going down, the whole FTX debacle, the nonsense, the enforcements, it's got me, or it got to me. And it was one of these things where I'm like, wait a second, I chose this, right? I made an active decision 5 years ago to kind of move away from the traditional world toward this new financial system and this new technology. And, I got a lot of shit for it. I got people telling me I was an idiot. I had clients telling me I was an idiot, but I felt good, and I felt really good. And the last few months have kind of beaten a bunch of that out of me. And so I was like, wait a minute, do I want to do this? And this will trivialize it, but it's kind of like, I don't know if you're into or talk about or heard about, the cold shower thing, right? And why it's good for you and all this good stuff, or like cold dunks. It's hard. Taking a cold shower in the morning is hard. Like it requires active commitment every single time you turn that knob to cold. And I was pretty good for a long time, and then I just wimped out for a few months, and now I'm back on it. But it's still hard every single time I do it. And what I realize is it's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. Doing easy makes soft people. Doing what's hard makes hard people and strong people. So anyway, I don't want to dive too deep into that, but I really did think, what the hell did I get myself into? But I'm back, energized, effervescent. I am super excited. It made me go back. And what I mean is it made me go back to the roots of why I'm here. It's the tech and the people and the innovation. And no matter how much the incumbents resist, and no matter how much they fight, we're still going to win. And this is the famous, for those who are watching on video, this is the famous puking brontosaurus pattern. So you see the tail, you see the 2 feet, you see the long neck, and you see the puke. This is the puking brontosaurus pattern. I made it up. It's famous because I made it up, and I made it up a number of years ago about a bunch of different stuff. But this, and the thing about the puking brontosaurus pattern, the puke, gravity works. The puke goes to the floor. This is going to the floor. CPI is going to the floor. It's going down, and there is no way to stop it. And so the whole inflation is transitory was true.
Yeah.
It was just 16 months, not 6.
Yeah.
You said effervescent, and I said polydent, but another throwback is Pepto-Bismol. So again, most people have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's this pink stuff you drank that if you had an upset stomach, and volatility will make your stomach upset, so you may need some Pepto. But the pink, the vol of energy, and we talked about this for months and months and months and months, right? When the number was going up, when the CPI was going up, and everybody's freaking out, I was like, guys, all of it, well, 75% of it is oil and used cars. And it's not going to happen, I said, right? That oil is going to go from negative price back to positive price, right? That was a event caused by lockdowns, right? Negative oil prices are not supposed to happen. And then, we went from $40 to $120, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, there's so much inflation. No, it's pretty flat over the 2 years, but you had this, ill-advised drop in policy decision, and it's just like freaking, I don't even use his name. The guy in the White House, I don't even like that, saying, I've created more jobs than anybody. No, you haven't. The jobs were decreated by policy, and then they came back. Those aren't new jobs. Those are just people going back to work that you locked in their apartments. Not him, but so the same thing's true here. Is that increase that we saw in oil prices wasn't real. It was the result of the policies. Now, here's the thing. I am a total deflationist, right? I think we are headed for serious deflation for the next decade. Too many 65 to 85-year-olds. I'm getting perilously close to that age as I hit the big 60 this year. But yeah, big one. It's a big, yeah. You're going to have to come down and party with me.
Yeah, I will, yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm definitely but here's the thing. I don't know if you've heard of or know Pierre Onderond,
No.
famous oil trader, maybe one of the best. I won't call him the best, but he's one of the best oil traders on the planet. Over in London, he's a French guy, and I don't mean that with any derision. I mean he is like from French Polytech School. I mean he's a genius guy from France, and Pierre has a really interesting argument that because of the reaction to the lockdowns and the evaporation of capital for the energy space because of ESG nonsense, we have a massive supply problem. And as demand comes back, and he's been showing all these charts of, aviation fuel and auto fuel, and it's all coming back to pre-COVID levels. He says, as that comes back, there's not the spare capacity that we used to have in OPEC. And he put up an analog, and these aren't always right, but he says this is very similar to 2004 to 2008, when we had a similar kind of problem when all the banks were going under because of subprime, and you couldn't finance exploration and production. And remember, every year, this is crazy, every year we have to find roughly the amount of oil that exists in Saudi Arabia in order just to keep the treadmill going. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen, right? And so in 2007, oil prices tripled. And if you look at the chart from 2004 to 6 and overlay 2020 to 2022, it's perfect. I mean, perfect. And we're right at the trough where it's about to triple. Now, I'm not saying he's right, but if that happens, CPI will go right back up. That's a long answer to, while I favor the deflation story, we're not out of the woods on inflation. Things on that, Michael. The gasoline story is manipulation, right? That was simply trying to buy votes for the election by releasing oil from the SPR. Now, the problem is, at some point, you're going to have to refill the SPR.
Yeah.
Right? You just are. And that's going to increase demand in the short run. And that's going to put upward pressure on prices. And so the whole thing is, you're supposed to buy for the SPR when prices are low. You're supposed to sell when prices are high. And so, but they didn't do that, right? They waited for the price to fall from like 120 down to 90. Then they started selling right before the election to push gasoline prices down. Because look, there's a perfect inverse correlation between price of gasoline and presidential popularity. I mean, it's perfect. If gas prices are $1, people love the president. Doesn't matter which party, they love him. I say him, I mean, I guess it could be her, them, they love them. If prices are $4, they hate him, right? Whoever they are, doesn't matter. Party, they hate him. So that was clearly a manipulation. And that is gone because they're going to have to refill the SPR. Now, here's the problem. If we're trying to fill the SPR and China's filling their SPR, now they're actually really good at it. They bottom tick all the time. They fill up their SPR, then they drain it when the prices are. They're actually really good at it.